Hi and hello everybody, it's Fern. Welcome back to another Planty video. Thank you so much for joining me. So I thought that it'd be kind of fun to show you all of the Hoya that bloomed for me last year, so in 2025. None of them are currently in flower, but I of course have photos and videos that I can pop up here on the screen for you. And we can talk about the flowers, we can talk about the scent, any notes that I have on the flowers other than the scent, like how long they last, how frequently this plant flowers for me. I love Hoya flowers so much, so I want to start doing this every single year. So I hope that that sounds good to you. Let me go grab the first Hoya. Okay, so this is my Hoya davidcummingii, who just grows like a weed. I got this as a very small plant probably around 2 years ago now, and it grew out into a pretty impressively sized Hoya in a very small amount of time, and it started blooming just months after I got it. So it really just took off very quickly. Now this one does live in, it's like climbing up the thing. I guess I can, okay, that should be fine, then I can hold it less awkwardly. Not me losing my voice already. So this one settled in very quickly, bloomed very quickly for me. Oh yeah, this does live in my south window, which is the like premium Hoya spot for flowering. I will have like almost all of the Hoyas in the windows blooming during the growing season because there's just such great light. So this one definitely takes advantage of that. It's actually unusual for the davidcummingii to not be in flower, but pretty much all of the peduncles are working on blooms for me, and there's tons of these. Like, it has so many peduncles just everywhere on the whole plant. Look, there's like 3 just right there. Now, if you watched my Hoya collection for 2025, then you would know that this is actually one of my top favorite Hoya in my collection, and that is for the flowers. I love the flowers on this Hoya so much. They are pink and fuzzy, and they smell like caramel. Like, that's literally a dream. They last for a long time as well, and this Hoya in general is just so easygoing. It tolerates underwatering. It is just a great plant. Honestly, it's probably due for a repot because I've just had it in this tiny 4-inch that dries out pretty quickly for me. Yeah, it looks pretty darn root bound in there. But yeah, I'm so glad that I got this one because the foliage is nothing to write home about. Like, it's fine, but it is the flowers that I love for this one. And since it blooms so often, it's like the perfect kind of Hoya for one that you want for the flowers. I don't know if that makes any sense, but sometimes a Hoya will have really immaculate flowers, but then you only see those flowers like once a year. But this one blooms like 90% of the year. I'm not joking. It always, this is the first time I've seen it without any active flowers in a long time, and we're in January right now, so fair enough. It's just so lovely to have growing out in the living room because I'll be sitting on the couch and I can smell the caramel scent. Like, it actually has a pretty good throw in terms of you don't have to be right close up to the plant smelling the flowers to appreciate it. I always recommend this one if you're looking for a Hoya that's going to be blooming frequently for you. I think that it is just such a fantastic, beginner-friendly, really rewarding Hoya to grow. So, of course, this one was blooming pretty much all year for me. And yeah, I just love it so much. Okay, this is like absurd to try to fit into the frame, but this is my Hoya polyneura. We know her, we love her. This one was actually my top favorite Hoya of 2025 because of the gorgeous foliage. This is such a full, massive plant now. I've had this for years, and it's just absolutely beautiful and such a great grower for me. But what I wasn't expecting was for it to finally flower for me in 2025. I do think that this was the most exciting Hoya flower that I got last year because I prefer to grow my Hoya polyneura in lower light to keep the nice dark green foliage color. So I thought that by doing that, I was sacrificing the bloom potential, and I was kind of okay with that. But this plant surprised me, and it actually had like 4 different peduncles full of flowers. It was so incredibly beautiful, and such a different flower as well with the red and yellow coloring. I thought that it was just so neat and so pretty and unique how they kind of like, they're almost like a little surprise because they're kind of tucked under the branches. But yeah, just really, really exciting. And I was just not expecting to get flowers with this Hoya being pulled back from the window how it is, because it really doesn't get a ton of direct, well, it doesn't really get any direct light at all. At certain times of the year, like right now, if there's a sunny day, it might get some sun later in the day, but it's very fleeting because the days are so short right now. So yeah, I just was not expecting it, but the flowers were beautiful. I couldn't detect a scent, but I did look up what other people were saying it smelled like, and all I could really find was people describing it as a lightly sweet scent. So I don't know what that means, but I couldn't smell anything on mine. So you'll have to comment down below if you have any fragrance notes to add for any of these plants. I know sometimes people will grow the same Hoya but detect a different scent, and I don't know if that's due to the growing conditions or what, but it is kind of interesting. Hoya mathilde is a very divisive one, which we will get to. But yeah, this one was just such a great surprise and just really, really beautiful flowers. Okay, next I am actually going to mention a Hoya that I don't have anymore, and that is Hoya fitchii, which bloomed for me last year. It was the first time that I received a flower on that one as well, and it was really beautiful, but I think that mine wasn't getting enough light to get, like when I see photos, I see the flowers looking a lot more pink, but I think that mine just wasn't receiving enough light to really have that nice coloring. But it was really cool to see regardless. That one was living in my Millsbow wide IKEA greenhouse cabinet, so I guess it just wasn't close enough to the grow light to really color up. I do love the fitchii, but I had to make some hard decisions when downsizing my plant collection last year, so a few of these I don't have anymore, but I still wanted to mention them because it's always so exciting when a Hoya flowers, and I had a lot of first-time bloomers last year. I'm hoping that I have some more first-time bloomers this year that I can share with you at the end of the year. But yeah, fitchii, I also couldn't detect a scent. There was only one flower cluster, and I find that oftentimes when there's just like one peduncle pushing out flowers, I don't really notice a scent, but if there's a bunch of them, then, you know, obviously it's stronger and you can notice it more. So I don't know if it was because it was just the one that I didn't really notice, but from what I have read online, people often describe that one as sweet and a little bit citrusy, like a little bit of a lemony scent to it, which I actually really like that smell. So it's too bad that I couldn't detect that on mine. Okay, I just had a near catastrophe taking this next Hoya off the wall. This is one of my favorite plants in my whole plant collection, and that was very stressful. This lives on the Wally Grow wall, and I went to grab it, didn't grab the step stool, and I thought I should go grab the step stool, but I'm just gonna try to grab it, and I reached up and I don't know what happened. It just fell out of my hand, like from above my head like this, and came crashing down to the floor and flew out of the pot. But somehow I only lost a couple of leaves and it doesn't look too damaged, so thank goodness for that. I don't know how she is not looking more beat up, but anyways, this is my Hoya heuschkeliana, and she is one of the prettiest plants of all time, if I do say so myself. Yeah, I'm obsessed with this Hoya. The variegation on this plant is to die for. Like, this is as good as it gets, y'all. It's just so pretty. Do you see the pink? Like, so pretty. This gets light from the Soltech Highland track light, which it's just absolutely loving. All of my plants love that light, actually. But yeah, anyways, Hoya heuschkeliana, this is another one that is very frequently blooming for me. Cute little tiny pink clusters of flowers, which I find very charming and delicate. I know some people don't like them or just, you know, think that they're not exciting, but I actually really love them. And something that I always appreciate about Hoya flowers is how short or long the peduncle stem things are. So short that the clusters are just like tucked really deeply in between the leaves, and I just think that that adds to just such a sweet look. You can see that there's some that are not, wait, can you see right there? So they're still forming, but it's very tight in to the vine there. And I just think that that's so cute. Like I said, they're pink and they smell like buttered popcorn, which is so divine. Now this is another one, like I said, that is frequently flowering, and Hoya flower scents are stronger in the evening and at night. So often when I am doing my nighttime routine and getting ready for bed, I will walk into the bedroom and be greeted with this lovely buttered popcorn scent, and it's just so nice. I really appreciate when Hoyas have a nice scent. I feel like, I don't know, I'm a scent person. I love associating scents with things or with times, and I love when my houseplants can kind of play into that as well. So yeah, such a cute Hoya, and I know people think the flowers are underrated, but I actually really like them. I feel like it complements the foliage really well, and like I said, the scent is just so lovely. So I'm gonna go water her in because she does seem very dry when she took a tumble there. But yeah, Hoya heuschkeliana, I'm sure that she will have more flowers for us soon. Okay, next we will quickly talk about Hoya noona, which is another one that's no longer in my collection, sadly. The Hoya noona is actually a hybrid of the davidcummingii and the, wait, is that how that goes? Yeah, it's a hybrid of the davidcummingii and the heuschkeliana, the one that I just showed you. But my noona had cute fuzzy yellow flowers. They looked really similar to the davidcummingii, but yellow. I really loved the flowers on that one. The foliage wasn't very notable, but when I was trying to make my decision with downsizing, I figured I have the davidcummingii that I really, really love and I want to keep. I have the heuschkeliana that I really, really love and I will always keep. So I feel like that one, like I have both the parents, I probably don't need that one as well. But it did flower for me several times. Something about, like, yeah, those three Hoya, they just love to flower. That one I had growing on my fitchii plant shelf that's behind me here under Barina grow lights. And yeah, that was actually one of the Hoyas that, one of the only Hoyas that have bloomed on this plant shelf. There is another one that loves to bloom on this shelf as well that we'll get to, but most of my flowers come from the south windows, I feel. Anyways, noona is such a cute Hoya. I do recommend that one. It was very easygoing as well. Yeah, I love all three of those plants. Oh, and apparently the noona has a buttered popcorn scent as well, just like one of its parents, but I didn't really detect that on mine. At least I don't remember a scent on that one. Okay, next we're gonna talk about my Hoya Crimson Queen, who is a beast, even though I actually trimmed a lot of this plant off not too long ago. Like, I gave it a pretty aggressive haircut, but it just grows like a weed. My regular viewers know that I've had this Hoya for a very long time, but it took like 5 years before I got my first flower, which only happened in 2024. So I was really curious to see if last year, 2025, I was gonna get another flower, and I did. I think it gave me 2 flowers last summer. I don't know why she's so stingy with the flowers, but she is. And this one also lives in the south window, so it's in like prime real estate. You'd think you would be giving me more flowers, especially for a plant of this size, but I'll take what I can get. This one smells very chocolatey. The carnosa types are known for a chocolatey or like Tootsie Roll, even some vanilla notes kind of scent to it. So it's a really delicious smelling flower. And I think that the flowers are just so beautiful on this one as well. I love carnosa flowers. So I'm always such a big fan when she decides to bloom for me. I'm gonna put her down though because oh my gosh, so heavy. I don't know if anyone else has the same experience with Crimson Queen blooming very sparingly, but let me know if let me know what your experience is, because I feel like other people's bloom more than mine. So yeah, I don't really know what that's about, but I'm always very thankful when a flower does come in. Okay, next we're gonna talk about my Hoya mirabilis. She's in this beautiful hanging planter that somebody made and sent to me. Like, it is so freaking pretty, but I'll take her out of it for the sake of this. I actually think that I want to do something else with this planter this year, maybe pot something directly in it. I need to give it a wash as well. Anywho, this is my Hoya mirabilis, who at first glance doesn't look like the most exciting Hoya. I mean, I personally like these slender kind of wonky shaped leaves. I like how dark green they are. Has a little bit of splash, but the leaves are not what is the most impressive thing about this Hoya, in my opinion. The most impressive thing is the crazy flowers that this plant puts out. So she puts out the longest peduncles of all time. Like, look how long that is. Like, I describe them as little parachutes coming out. They're all long. Like, I don't know why some of them have, like, I'm sure there's a reason why some of them have longer. Oh, this one's caught. There we go. Like, they're just so incredibly long. And I just love the look of a flower hanging down off of this really long vine there. So not only is that a feature that I love, but this Hoya puts out fluffy gray and yellow flowers, and they're just so unique. They're like nothing else that I have in my collection. I love them so much, and they're really big and chonky, especially in comparison to the leaf size of this plant. And this is another one that oh my gosh, not a big juicy mealy right there. What the heck? I thought I just sprayed this the other day. Like, how is there a mealy on it already? That's very annoying. Anyways, yeah, big chonky flowers, love the colors. This one I also don't, oh yeah, what I was saying is that it bloomed fairly quickly for me. This one does also live in the south facing window, so it's getting a lot of light and it seems to really like that. But yeah, it took maybe, I'm gonna say like around a year to get my first flowers on this. Yeah, I think that that's right. And I was just not expecting to be as obsessed with them as I was and am. And this also, it's bloomed for me 2 separate times already. And it strikes me as one that's going to be blooming fairly often. So I'm gonna be keeping an eye out for new flowers coming in soon. But yeah, I think that this is such an underrated Hoya. It's so beautiful, not only in foliage, but in flower as well. And I didn't detect a scent. The internet said, oh, the internet said that this has like a grassy, like a fresh cut grass kind of scent. So let me know if you have experienced that. I don't think I've really come up close and like smelt the flowers in the evening on this one, but like I don't notice them when I'm, you know, near the plant in the evenings. So I don't know. Anyways, really cool Hoya, and this is another one that was just a really exciting and kind of unexpected flower in 2025. Okay, I don't normally take this one down, so this is a special occasion, but this is my Hoya compacta. And she is huge. I'm actually gonna spray these plants down after I'm finished filming, so that's why I've grabbed it from the window. Anyways, yeah, this is my compacta that I've had for like 7 years now, and it blooms inconsistently for me. It bloomed for me once when it was a lot smaller, living on a west facing window, and then after that I had it in probably not the best lighting conditions, so I didn't see flowers for several years. And then last year, well, I moved it to the south facing window, I think in fall of 2024. And I was really hoping to get flowers in 2025, and I did. I only got one, but I still got one, and it was so beautiful. Something about this foliage combined with the beautiful compacta or carnosa type flower is just so stunning to me. Like, I love it so much. It has that signature chocolatey Tootsie Roll kind of smell, and it's just so stunning. So yeah, I love this plant just foliage wise, but it is always such a nice treat to get a flower on this one. Here she is in all of her glory. And when it flowered was at like the end of summer. I think it was in, gosh, I don't even know, September maybe? Yeah, so that was really nice. Okay, and then next is another one that I don't have currently anymore, and that is Hoya quinquenervia. I had this Hoya for years, and it took a few years before it flowered, but when it did start flowering, it was like crazy, putting out so many peduncles, so many flowers, and it was beautiful. Again, had it in the south window. It was actually on the upper south window, and it did get a little bit annoying because there's constantly like sap and flowers falling down onto the floor. That's the thing, like Hoya flowers are very messy, which is fine. Like, it's worth it to see the flowers, but it can get a little bit annoying, especially when there's so many just like constantly coming in. And those ones were just really especially sappy. It was really nice to get that plant to the point where I could see the flowers, but I did ultimately end up getting rid of that one. I feel like sometimes with Hoya, I grow them out to the point where they flower, and then I feel like I've achieved that. I've seen the flowers, I've appreciated them, and then I can decide if I want to keep them or not. And that was just one that I ultimately let go of, but it was kind of bittersweet because I had had it for so long, like in different places that I've lived throughout the moves I've had and stuff. And yeah, it's a really gorgeous Hoya, and it also sun stresses nicely as well. In terms of the flowers scent, I didn't really detect much of a smell with those either, and all I could find online was them being described as mild and sweet. So, and it would be flowering in multiple spots at once, so I feel like I would have, like, if there was a strong scent, I would have smelt it, and I didn't. So yeah, not sure about the scent on that one. Okay, next we have my Hoya Wilbur Graves, and I'm obsessed with these two new leaves that are coming in. Oh my gosh, they're like soft still, and the color, oh gosh, they're just perfect. Like, I cannot get enough of this Hoya. Look at it. Like, you're joking. Not only does this have some of the most stunning foliage of all time, it is constantly blooming for me. We actually have some flowers that are about to open soon, and I feel like from the peduncle starting to activate, I guess, to the point where we have flowers is really quick on this one. Like, I noticed that peduncle looking juicy, not like, I swear, days ago, and now they're already like, you know, preparing. So that's really nice, because I feel like some peduncles you're like waiting forever, but no, these ones are pretty quick, and there's multiple that it blooms from at different times. But yeah, this one kind of surprises me because my experience with carnosa type Hoyas, like I said with the Crimson Queen, I just don't get flowers very often. But for some reason, the Wilbur Graves is just like living his best life. This one lives on the Visto shelf it's like partially under Brenus and partially under the Rousseau grow light, but like pulled pretty far away from it. So not even like that aggressive of light, and it still is just flowering so much. So I feel like I got really, really lucky with this one. It's just so beautiful. And I love the flowers. They're just like, they're not the most interesting Hoya flowers. They're just like white, but they're still really cool to see, and they're, you know, pretty big in size as well. And these don't really have a strong scent either. I mean, I'm sure that they have the kind of chocolatey Tootsie Roll smell, but I don't really notice, like, it's not strong. So yeah, but that's okay. Anyways, really, really great Hoya. It actually just was flowering like a few weeks ago, and then those ones all died off, so I don't have them to show you, but those ones just snuck up on me out of nowhere. Yeah, definitely one of my favorites though. Okay, this one was another like star flowerer for me last year. It had, I think, 11 clusters of flowers on it at one time, which was immaculate, as you can imagine. That was in August, I think, of 2025, and 2025 is also the first year that this one bloomed for me, so I was not expecting it to go so crazy. I think it gave me a couple near the beginning of the summer, and then it just went full out for the end of the summer. So yeah, it was really exciting, and I hadn't had any Mathildes bloom before. My green Mathilde bloomed for the first time in 2025, and I'd had that plant for years, like 6 or 7 years. And then this one also bloomed for the first time. So it was really exciting because this is the silver mathilde, and the foliage is just so pretty. This is a new vine that it's putting out right now, and I am obsessed with it. Like, oh my gosh, so beautiful. So yeah, really love this one. It's always putting out a whole bunch of peduncles. Something that I have found with mathilde is that it loves to put out peduncles, and it put out a lot before it actually flowered. So I don't really get excited when I see peduncles unless I can tell that they are juicy or activating, because I feel like a lot of Hoyas love to just throw out peduncles and then they will just chill for like months to years. But sometimes that's not the case. Some of them, they put out a peduncle and then it flowers right away. But I feel like with mathilde, she just puts out, like, my plain green one probably had like 50 peduncles before any of them ever flowered. But yeah, this one also lives on the south window, so she gets a lot of light and she obviously loves that. The scent of this one, I was so curious to have mathilde flower for me finally, because I hear people say that the scent is really bad. People actually describe the scent as smelling like cat pee. So I didn't know if that's what I was going to be experiencing or not, and it kind of was, but it wasn't that bad. The scent definitely has a throat range. Like, I could smell this plant if I'm like walking by it, and it was kind of like a floral mixed with a cat pee kind of scent. Like, it wasn't a deterrent to me to keeping this plant or to like wanting it to flower. Like, I still want the flowers even if they're a little bit stinky, you know, but I definitely can see why people think that. But then I also see some other people say that they love the smell of their mathilde. So do you have a stinky mathilde or do you have a sweet smelling mathilde? Please let me know. Mine's a little bit stinky and that's okay. Yeah, really, really beautiful plant, and it was just so incredible to see all of those flowers happening at once. That was honestly like a highlight for me in terms of my plants last year. Okay, and lastly, we are going to talk about my, what is that, dried vine? My, what is this? Lacunosa mint coin, which is, oh, okay, which is another really beautiful silvery Hoya. This is actually probably one of the prettier silver Hoyas in my collection, and I love having it on this round trellis. I think that it's just so gorgeous. Now this one, I was really digging for photos, but I swear near the beginning of 2025 I got a flower in this one. Now maybe I didn't take a photo because lacunosa flowers aren't really much to write home about. Like, they're cute, but I don't know, I'd seen them before and it just wasn't anything like that notable, so maybe I didn't take a photo, but I swear I remember it flowering. However, this one does not flower a lot for me because it lives in, ooh, there actually looks like this peduncle might be doing something. This one lives in my Millsbow. Okay, my battery keeps dying on me, but I think I was saying that this one is pretty far from the grow light. It's kind of tucked under the foliage of some other plants in there, the big begonia and everything, so I think that this would be flowering frequently if it was out on the south window or just closer to a grow light, but because it's not, and because I don't really care to prioritize it in those spots, because I'm not really growing this for the flowers, I'm more so growing it for the foliage. I'm not too worried about it. I just leave it in its current spot, and I don't really mind if it's not flowering, but it is nice to see when it does. I think that these flowers are known to have a bit of a cinnamony kind of scent, but again, I don't really remember detecting much on this one, and I think it was just the one flower, so yeah, pretty plant though. It is always interesting to observe the flowers in my Hoya collection because sometimes I will get a flower one year on a plant and then the next year I won't because I'll have changed the care or I'll have moved it into a different spot. For example, my Hoya Wyetii, I had a ton of flowers on that in 2024, and it was actually one of my favorites at that time because I love the pink fuzzy flowers. But this year I moved it into the bedroom where it's cooler, so I think because of the decreased temperature it didn't flower last year in 2025, which is a bit of a bummer. We'll see what happens in 2026, but sometimes it's like that. Like, sometimes they flower, sometimes they don't, and I'm always really excited when one of them flowers for the first time, and I have a few that I kind of have my eye on that I think might be flowering for me sometime soon. So definitely subscribe if you want to see more planty updates from me. Other than that, that's it. I hope that you enjoyed our little Hoya flower chat today. As always, leave a comment down below. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.